What's up, Overcome Army? It is Monday. It is that first day of the week to kick things off. Man, I know for so many of you within the group, I've got individuals that are in ambushes. I've got individuals that have seen indicators that ambushes are on the horizon. Myself, I was navigating, or still kind of navigating out of the ambush with my health issues. Feel a little better. Knocked out a week of hyperbaric, and then. I'm going to go back next week. We're going to do more of that and still trying to figure out. I mean, it might have just been some crazy virus is what some of the doctors are talking about. Some weird virus that sometimes it just happens, gets into your system and wrecks you. So we will see with that. But I am always relentlessly focused on getting off the X and continuing to move the needle. And I know all our members are doing the same. So this week, what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about staying on course with something that I see, and even I'm super guilty of. I will be perfectly honest. I'm a pretty independent person, and I am the type of person that I like bringing people together to get things done. But if I have someone that is not contributing to the end state, I can start to get a bad taste in my mouth towards that person, and then I have a tendency to not want to work with that person anymore. And one of the things, what I want to talk about today is sometimes you have to play the game of life. And the reality is we're always going to have difficult people we have to deal with. It may be a boss, it may be a coworker, it may be, believe it or not, a family member. But all of us may need to work with that individual to get some things done. And this is where we really got to expand our mind. This is something where we can really slow ourselves down. One of the best Master Chiefs I ever worked for gave me a piece of advice a long time ago. And I try to live it. I try and remind myself of it, especially when I hit one of these sticking points where I got to deal with someone and I'm just like, man, I do not want to deal with that person. It would just be so much easier to just cut them out, figure out a different way to get this done, and just not deal with that. But what he told me is never let your personal feelings get in the way of your professional relationships. There are going to be people that you don't get along with. There are going to be people that, for whatever reason, you just don't see eye to eye. They may be what I call a leadership wrecking ball. They're good at getting things done, but they leave a path of destruction behind them. Their views may be different from your views, but no matter what, they're within your scope of circle and influence that it behooves you to work with them. And this is where now we've got to start playing that game of life. This is where we've got to start looking for ways, hey, how do I get to know them better? The reality is sometimes people who are difficult, sometimes people who are an obstacle in the way, they may have something going on that, they're not intentionally trying to be in the way, but they may have some things going on in their life. And if we take the time to get to know them, if we take the time to put aside our personal feelings and look at the professional end state, we actually may build some bridges that we, never would have been possible if we hadn't taken that step back to realize, okay, where are we trying to go? We're going to have to play this game of life, not looking at our personal feelings, but looking at the professional end state. So I tell you guys that because I know that a lot of us run into that problem. I know that we may have it within work. We may have it with some of the people that we're working with. Some people are just, difficult. I'm probably a difficult person because I'm really laser focused on what I want to get done sometimes. And I know sometimes I can be ornery about that. So I hope that others will do the same. That they'll come up to me and say, hey, Jay, let's figure out how to make this work. And, these are these sticking points. So at the end of the day, guys, you can't just run down the road, and just say, well, I don't want to work with that person because I don't see eye to eye with them. Instead, we need to look for ways, invest in them, get to know them. We may never see eye to eye. They may never be the person that you're going to hang out and go have drinks with or anything like that. But if you can work together, if you can find compromises, that is what the game of life is all about. I wish our politicians could learn this lesson because I feel like that has been thrown out the window and there's none of that anymore. But in this life, it's critical in order to get things done. So that is the message. It's a quick, fast, play the game of life message on this Monday muster, especially when we're working at, and the only time I would say that you should not play the game of life, I'll throw out one caveat. If it compromises who you are. and if it violates your mission. So if you look at your mission statement, you know what your values are. You know, if you have to go down a road where you're having to do something ethically or morally wrong, obviously, then that's not playing the game of life. You know, that's blurring into areas that, you know, are just not who you are or who you stand for. And you obviously have to stand strong with that and your convictions. But if it's merely because you don't like them or they're just being a pain in the butt and you're like, well, I could go a different way to make this happen, you know, that obviously can create those issues. So that's it. That is this Monday Muster. Play the game of life. Never let your personal feelings get in the way of your professional relationships and get those things done. Keep moving that needle in all areas of your life, specifically in those professional areas where sometimes we have to rely on so many people to get things done. So that is Monday Muster. Get out there this week, first week of February. We're 1 month into the year, so I hope you guys are conquering those goals. A lot of people in our group, we had our weekly wrap up yesterday. On Sundays, we do our call where we celebrate wins. And I noticed a lot of our people were like, you know, I feel like I'm not making as good progress. And only because they're measuring progress, they're looking at what they're doing and there's not some large gain, or maybe there's not a gain at all. But the reality is if they executed, if they did their 3 Ps, 1 personal, 1 physical, 1 professional, if it's in alignment with their mission and where they want to go, destination, and they're on course, guess what? That's making progress. Sometimes, man, you'll get stalled. But as long as you're not losing ground, and even if you're losing ground, you're still making progress because you're still executing. Those are the times we may need to reevaluate. So don't get down on yourself. We're a month into the year. Keep focusing on those goals. And sometimes we may need to do a reset and just say, you know what? I've got all these different things going on. I've got to adapt. You know, I've got these schedule disruptions. My rule of 3 Ps can't be as big as what I really wanted them to be. And people will feel down about that. They're like, man, I said I was going to run 3 miles. And I said that I was going to have dinner with my family every day this week. And I said that I was going to get, you know, an hour of this big project done for work every single day this week. And then they weren't able to do it. And then they feel bad. Man, shrink your goals. Get them to where you're accomplishing them. They will expand with time, but yeah, if you're still knocking things out, chalk that up as a win. Celebrate your wins, celebrate moving the needle. So, all right, guys, that's Monday Muster. Get out there this week, crush it, and I am out.